1 second, Mom.
Oh my God. Dylan, you're
Hi,
first.
I'm Dylan.
Oh my God. Hi, I'm Neil, and this is Youth on Subjects of the World, Season 3, Episode 1. So the perfect way to start off our season, Dylan talking to his mommy, so you can tell that we're small children on our computers. But
Yes.
so,
Well, I think we're all excited to get back after a long
especially
break.
for this topic, because as some of you may know, probably not, I don't know. But the thing is, this is actually a very important episode because the first episode of this podcast ever, Season 1, Episode 1, was the 2016 presidential election. Now we sit here in 2019, and one of the big things on the table is, should Donald Trump be impeached, which is the title of this episode and the topic of this episode. Should Donald Trump be impeached? We're going to go out there provocative. We're ready to go and talk about this very important topic. Yeah. So I guess we'll start off with, let's try to keep this simple to begin. All right. So should Donald Trump be impeached? Let's go. And then we'll go with the reasons after. Dylan, do you think President Donald J. Trump should be impeached?
Do I think President Trump should be impeached?
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, I don't know. But I would prefer a yes or a no.
All right. I thought about something earlier, which I thought was interesting. I read something, and it was like Bill Clinton had some girl give him a blowjob. Our president breaks many major laws, and they're just like, what you gonna do about it? So, but I mean, that's not really an answer. But I don't know. I would say probably yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be fucking boring because I'm going to say yes too. But it doesn't mean we still can't talk about it and have instances. So I'm going to say yes firmly. And why is that? So we'll go with why now. So I'll say why. You kind of said a little bit of why, but I'll say why and then you can say why. So, so why should Donald Trump be impeached? In my opinion. Okay. So impeaching is so just for those of you who don't know what impeaching is. Like, I think most people think what impeaching is Congress just kicks the president out of office. That's not what impeaching is. The impeachment process, let me just explain it step by step. Step one, the Speaker of the House, which in our case would be Nancy Pelosi, would bring to the floor a motion to impeach the president. Impeachment is done on any federal official. They can impeach anyone. Same thing would work on a state level of like the state assembly impeaching someone. But so the House of Representatives would impeach would vote to impeach Donald Trump by a simple majority, and this would pass easily as the Democrats have a majority. So like one strand of hair is pissing me off. It's just standing up there. Okay, since the Democrats have a majority. So right now the numbers are the Democrats have 235, I think, representatives in the House. And the Republicans have 193. And there are 2 vacancies. So, so that's, I think those are the numbers right now for the House. So it would basically clearly pass. Not to mention, there would probably be some Republicans that would vote in favor of of impeaching Trump in the House. So it would probably even pass by a larger majority, but it's irrelevant because you only need 218 votes for a majority in the House. But so basically the House would pass the motion to impeach Trump. This would trigger a trial in the Senate. Now, this is as far as any impeachment has ever gone. There have been 2 impeachments, or 3, I think 2 impeachments in presidential history. The first one was a really long time ago. Some president that I don't remember. He was impeached because he like fired a federal official or something for like something stupid, or it was something, I don't know. But he was impeached, and then he was acquitted in the Senate, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then Bill Clinton was impeached by the House and acquitted in the Senate. And what this so no president, and contrary to popular belief, Nixon was not impeached. I don't know if it's popular belief or not, but Nixon was not impeached. The impeachment the impeachment like proceeding was going to start, and the House was going to vote for it. But he knew the second the House voted for it and it went to the Senate, he would have been removed. So he just resigned. But so the impeachment. But no sitting president has actually ever been removed from office. And what I mean by that is impeachment doesn't remove you, as I said earlier. It just puts you to trial in the Senate. So what would happen to Trump is he would go to the Senate, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court would preside over the hearing. And this is basically, it's like impeachment, while it doesn't, the Democrats aren't really gunning for removing Trump from office through the impeachment trial. They're basically just gunning for, like basically just a try to get everything out in the open. And then after that, because the Republicans hold a 53 to 47 majority in the Senate, and it's very possible that he would be acquitted in the Senate, which means the Republicans wouldn't remove him. So, but the thing is, impeaching, the end goal of contrary to popular belief, the end goal of impeachment really isn't to remove him. It's just to get everything out in the open. Okay, so why? Okay, we understand what impeachment is. Why should he be impeached? Because Dylan and I both believe he should be impeached. Why do I think he should be impeached? We'll start off with that. I believe he should be impeached because I think with the whole Mueller investigation and the amount of corruption around the Trump the Trump administration, such as Attorney General Barr refusing subpoenas from the House, being held the Attorney General of the United States is currently in contempt of the House of Representatives for not appearing, and basically Attorney General Barr acting like Trump's personal lawyer, censoring details that were very clearly relevant in the Mueller report for the public so they couldn't see it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Trump, and if you want to talk about lying, like Bill Clinton was originally impeached because he lied on he lied under oath or something. But Trump has, and even if he hasn't lied under oath, honestly, lying to the American people so much is just an absolute like shit show. Like if you look at some of the stuff, if you look at the the things that Trump says, such as like I was acquitted. He kept saying I was acquitted. I was acquitted. I was acquitted. He was never acquitted by even Mueller said he was never acquitted. Going against congressional approval. The Congress, bipartisan support for a bill saying, don't sell shit to Saudi Arabia, Trump. Don't sell stuff to Saudi Arabia. Okay? And what did Trump do? He sold stuff to Saudi Arabia, signing this weapon. It's like, and it's just, that's an impeachable offense in itself. Not to mention, the House of Representatives subpoenaed three separate organizations. They subpoenaed the New York State Tax Department. They subpoenaed Donald Trump himself. And they subpoenaed a casino where Donald Trump, I think, was, I don't remember that specifically, but they subpoenaed some casino. He was basically involved with like a scandal there that allowed him to like have money tax free. The New York State Tax Department just gave it straight up. Donald Trump said no. The House said, well, we're not asking you. We're subpoenaing the IRS. And the IRS, the final person to say yes or no in the IRS is the Secretary of the Treasury. The Secretary of the Treasury, who, as you should know, is appointed by Trump, said, yeah, no, you're not getting his tax returns. And they're like, okay, well, what the hell? It's very justifiable. And if you're wondering, well, why does he say that or can he do that? Well, he can't do that. The House should be able to subpoena and check and balance the government and investigate the president. So it's going through all these courts, and I think they have, but all the court stuff with the casino and Trump himself have all been resolved, and they've all been in favor of the House of Representatives because they're doing their damn duty. They're doing all this, but I mean, they found out with the New York State tax records that they already got. It's public. I think Trump stole like over like $1 million in taxes just for that, and that was like in the 1995 or something. But yeah, and also the last reason he should be impeached is because I said earlier, it's the House of Representatives' damn duty to do so. Like it's their job to check and balance the government. And yeah, this is clearly an impeachment offense. Okay, so that's my huge long thing about why he should be impeached. What do you think, Dylan?
What do I think? Well, I don't know. I mean, you went on for a while, so I think you pretty much covered all the bases that I was thinking of. I don't know. It just seems like, I don't even know. Like, what do you want in a president? Is someone that's like one likable.
Speaking of likable, while you're talking, I'm gonna go up and look up his polling numbers right now.
Okay. Yeah, like someone that's likable, relatively trustworthy, diplomatic, and he just seems to have none of those qualities. I know we were like talking earlier. You were saying earlier too that the goal of it is not necessarily to get them out of office. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going by what the general thought of the public is that, because that is part of it, right?
What is part of it? Sorry, I'm looking at a poll. What?
Like getting kicked out of office. That's part of an impeachment.
Yeah. So the House. So in the simplest terms, the House votes to hold. So it's basically the House voting for it. The impeaching a president is basically like what's it called? It's like a what's the word? It's like a indictment, criminal indictment, right? That's when you have to go to trial, right? Is that what an indictment is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So the impeachment is like an indictment, a criminal indictment, where you have to come to court now. So Trump has been dodging all this shit, like him and his administration, Barr refusing to go in front of the House, Trump refusing to give his tax returns, all this basically bullshit. And honestly, this isn't really a partisan thing, okay? I was no fan of Hillary Clinton. Dylan was no fan of Hillary Clinton. This is just a principle thing. Like I'm not saying we should impeach Trump because he is a Republican. No, I don't give a shit. Also, Trump isn't really even a Republican, to be honest. He's what people would call a rogue candidate, which is, so as you know, it's impossible to win the presidency unless you're under the Democrat or Republican ticket. So rogue candidates, Bernie Sanders is a good example of a rogue candidate. Rogue candidates are basically independents. I mean, Trump was a Democrat, then he was a Republican, but he's a freaking rogue candidate. If you look at his stuff, he's not saying stuff that's in line with the Republican Party. He's more authoritarian than Republican. Mm-hmm. But so what a rogue candidate is basically they hold values that are different from the party, but they have to run a party primary and they have to choose one because you can't win unless you do that. And the problem with Trump, the problem with a rogue candidate winning is that by definition of the party, the president is the head of the party. So because Donald Trump's the president of the head of the party, he's destroyed the Republican Party. The Republican Party split up into factions. Mm-hmm. So it's all this. It's this mass. The Republican Party is this massive mess. But yeah. So, what was the question? I don't know.
Should he like getting kicked out of office? Is that part of it?
I mean, it is. Nancy Pelosi, who's kind of heading all this, would like to see Trump impeached. Sorry, not impeached, removed. But it's real. But if we want to be realistic about it, she said, what I want to see happen is Donald Trump go to jail for all the things he's done, mainly the tax stuff. And if impeachment is part of that, then that's fine. She wants to see. Yeah. She wants to see he's not elected.
It's so confusing sometimes. Like, why even the Republicans like him? Like, who the fuck likes someone?
No one fucking likes him. No, it's a mystery. No one fucking likes him. The only reason he won is because
I did not know that is true.
First of all, he lost the popular vote. He lost by 3 million votes. I think that's like the biggest margin anyone's ever lost a popular vote by, which is insane. Mm-hmm. He lost by 3 million votes. And first of all, the only reason he won the Electoral College, and he still lost the popular vote by a lot, the only reason he won the Electoral College is because because the Democrats ran Hillary Clinton, someone that no one liked. Mm-hmm. He won. I say this a lot. Donald Trump didn't win. Hillary Clinton lost.
Yeah.
That's more what happened. You would have. I know. It's such a.
But also he won.
But also who?
By definition, that's not true. I know by numbers it is, but by definition it is not.
Well, by definition, what's not true?
That he lost.
Right.
I know it's just metaphor for saying it, but.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but it's basically, it was more.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it just seems like he's done so much crazy shit that no one else would have gotten away with, and somehow he's getting away with it.
Like the second he was fucking elected, the president of Taiwan called, and he acknowledged Taiwan's existence, which is a fucking big no-no. So those of you who don't know, I'm going way back because so much shit has been going on for so long. But so the reason you can't talk to the president of Taiwan is because China, because of a huge civil war that I'm not going to get into. Well, all right, here's the version of it. the Republic of China existed, and then there was a communist overthrow by the PLA, which was this military, which was like this this rebellion. PLA, People's Liberation Army. They overthrew the government. The government fled to Taiwan, and the People's Republic of China took over, a communist country, and they took over. Now, so the old Chinese government fled to Taiwan, and the old Chinese government, and their old Chinese government, sorry, the new Chinese government, the People's Republic of China, says, hey, we own Taiwan. And then Taiwan's like, no, you fucking don't. We own ourselves. And they're like, Taiwan. And then China's like, no, we own you. And because China's this massive thing in global trade, they force everyone to call, like all countries to call Taiwan Chinese Taipei in official like meetings, but everyone secretly acknowledges Taiwan. The point is that you don't acknowledge Taiwan exists as a country openly. Trump did exactly fucking that, causing almost a crisis. Not to mention his tariffs on China, which borderline caused a trade war. But that's just recently, which will cost households of four an extra like $1,000 to $700 every year, which is stupid. And also, we're not even going to talk about the fucking wall. It sounds
that's a whole other.
It sounds like a fucking 3-year-old. And I know this sounds like I'm just like a political hack or whatever sometimes, but I mean the thing is, the truth isn't fair. Sometimes, like the truth isn't fair. A lot of the time, like I know it's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm not going to lie. What I'm saying is very not biased, but I'm saying is very one-sided. But that's because the truth is one-sided sometimes. Like the truth isn't always bipartisan. The truth is objective. It's not bipartisan. Yeah. Facts don't care about your feelings, if you will. The whole Ben Shapiro thing. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm not gonna register if I am in a state with a closed primary, which means I can only vote in the primary if I'm a member of the party. Then I'd probably register Democrat just because I care more about the Democratic primary than the Republican primary. But if I live in a state with an open primary, I would just register independent. But yeah, I mean.
But no, I don't really know like 100% on anything, but he probably should get kicked out. I really have not researched much on this topic.
Yeah, I've done a fair amount.
I feel like you've done more extensive research on
this. Yeah, I used to actually be pretty, I do like one thing Trump has done. All right, I'll tell you what it is. And it wasn't really anything he did. It's like the consequence of him. One thing Trump did, it was a big fuck you to the establishment. And I was like, thank God, because the Democrats, with suppressing Bernie Sanders voters, borderline voter suppression, prevent Bernie Sanders from winning the primary. And I loved how Donald Trump beat all the established Republican candidates. He beat Jeb Bush. He beat Ted Cruz, the devil incarnate. He did all this stuff. And what did he do against Hillary Clinton, the establishment Democrat who had higher approval ratings? He won 300 electoral college votes. You need 270 to win, folks. Yeah, I like that. I like the establishment going, oh, and just being totally freaked out. That was amazing.
I mean, it's almost nice that he got elected because it taught the American people that it's kind of stupid to do this kind of shit.
It also showed me that the democratic process, I mean, he lost popular vote. The electoral college as a democratic process actually works. I thought, oh, there's going to be some internal government conspiracy, because the way the electoral college works is that technically states indirectly, your vote is indirect and it can be changed, and that's in the simplest terms. But no, democracy actually prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, democracy. He lost the popular vote. The electoral college's version of democracy prevailed.
Mm-hmm. So, what was I saying? We could talk about Bernie Sanders. Now, that got me pissed off.
What?
What he was saying about wanting to pay everybody's college loans off. I thought that was kind of fun.
Why don't we should do an episode on the 2020 Democratic presidential primary candidates.
Yes, we should. We should. We should. We could have.
We're not going to do all of them. Like Bill de Blasio. Let's actually say that because I'd love that for one episode. But
good idea.
But I have Trump's polls here. So this is 538.com, which is a pretty trustworthy website. The only time it wasn't trustworthy was actually during the 2016 election, I think, when it got things a little fucked up. But it's pretty good. It was fairly accurate during the midterms. So right now, Trump has an approval rating of 42.5%, which is honestly not that bad as of today.
Yeah.
It's kind of his lowest approval rating of all time. Well, not of all time, since this general few months.
I get what you mean.
One of the worst ones is a flat, so 36.7% in December 12th. Oh, you know why? 2017. You know why? Because that was net neutrality. Right? That was right before net neutrality was removed. I bet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was right when it was happening. And the 12th was 2 days before it got removed.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that, I'm really not that into the whole current, with the current stuff with current political stuff, for the most part. But what was I saying? God, I completely forgot. Well, what were you talking about?
No, I was just talking about the poll numbers now. What were you saying?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That, everybody seems to freaking forget that he had the longest government shutdown ever.
Okay. I
thought for sure that was going to be the end of his reign, was when people stopped getting paid.
Yeah, because that's the... yeah, that's when
Americans do not give a shit unless they're getting paid.
All these... Okay, what percentage of America works in the public sector? I'll just look up what... Right. What?
I know, but even still...
was affected by government.
I don't even mean... I just mean, as soon as any company is just oh, we're going to stop paying our workers. Who the fuck is going to go... Who the fuck's going to like them?
Okay, I don't have a percentage. Let me look at what percentage. I'll look at public sector.
Okay.
No, but that's too wide because a lot of city workers.
Neil, is there anything else you want after this? Anything else you want to talk about Donald Trump?
I don't know. I mean, we can just
whatever you were pissed off at him about. This seems like something that you're very interested in.
Yes, it is. But so the government shutdown, I couldn't find any specific numbers on the. I mean, I could look more and find them, but I don't really. It was a lot of. I mean, it was a lot of people, and the problem is, I think the economy must have taken a hit, right?
I'm sure the government put down.
Yeah, less people making money is always a bad thing. But so the government shutdown, that was bullshit. One of the horrible things that happened.
Especially too, if you think about it, what you said, 1% is employed by them?
No, I said I don't know how many. What?
What percent?
1%. It's probably 20.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But imagine if 20% of America, or even 1%. Imagine if 1% of the population was getting paid by somebody and they just stopped getting paid.
Well, here's the bad thing. So public sector workers, they do actually get all their catch-up pay when the government shutdown ends.
Yeah, I do know that.
But here's the thing. Government contractors don't get shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I'm a company, I'm Neil's Construction, and the government hires me, hey, repair this interstate highway. I'm like, okay. So I go to the repair. Okay, where's my money? Oh, I'm sorry, the government shutdown. We can't give you any money. I'm like, what? The government shutdown? You can't give me any money? Yeah, we can't do that. Okay. All right, so I wait for the government shutdown to end. Government shutdown ends. Oh, can I have my money now? No. What the fuck? So, so the government shutdown is a horrible thing because you're literally stealing from people legally. Like, I'm going to sue you. Really? You're gonna sue the federal government? Go fuck yourself, by the way. Thank you for the road. Thank you for the road. I really appreciate it. Go fuck yourself. I'm not giving you shit. Have a nice day. It's such a horrible thing.
Definitely.
And I have a story about the government.
It is kind of what?
I have a story about the government shutdown. Dylan knows this story. I was going to India, and during the government shutdown, and so we went to the airport, and it had already been a pretty stressful trip. We were waiting in line at security, and the TSA person was sitting there, headphones in. I swear to God, like he had like a dog, like a sniffing dog, or whatever. He had earphones in. He was on his phone like this, earphones in. He's like, the dog looked at my mom's bag, sniffed it, and sat down, and the guy just did this. Just keep going. Yeah, I don't know whether to be happy or incredibly terrified. But he did not give a I did not have to take my shoes off. I am 16 years old, and I am brown. I have to take my shoes off at TSA security, okay? No matter what. They just said, go through. I just went through the metal detector. I'm pretty sure I had like metal in my pocket. I had change in my pocket, and I swear to God it beeped. That scared me. I had change in my pocket, and I swear to God it beeped.
Mm-hmm.
They just did not care. Like, they were so apathetic. They did not care. And then while...
I know when I was really little, I thought that the government shut down. My mom told me that there might be a government shutdown, and I thought that meant like the world was going to end. The government was shutting down. The whole world's shutting down. We're all screwed.
But then you realize the government does nothing for humanity.
Then I basically realized that it's just a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, except for the people, it pushes below the poverty line. But the amount of
other people, but
yeah, well, the amount of people that got pushed below the poverty line was pretty screwed up.
What happened?
A bunch of people got pushed below the poverty line.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to talk about those concentration camps or whatever people call them?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I need to. So I don't want to just make claims without having evidence. So I'm going to go.
Yes, go.
Because without the evidence, so the first thing is like it's always been a big thing. Like the southern border has always been a huge topic of discussion. I'll say a good example of good border security and then a bad example. Here's a good example. A bunch of people, they were mostly women and children. They weren't bad people. They were just trying to get over the border, trying to get to a better place. The government, they were literally just storming the border, just trying to run across.
Mm-hmm.
The government deployed tear gas right at the border. They couldn't get across, and people were like, that's unethical. I understand. It's fucking horrible. But what do you want us to do? Right? Mm-hmm. Like everyone, honestly, Democrats and Republicans were like, okay, that was the right call.
Yeah, they didn't spray them. They just...
I know. Like, it's not like they wanted to do that.
Mm.
Like, what are they going to do, let them through? Or shoot them? Fuck that. No. These are non-lethal method to get them away from the border.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. Like, I really do not know what to think about immigration. Like, on one hand, I feel like it should be open borders because, it makes it easier for people to come in and come out and leave.
Okay, well, wait, clarify open borders because most people think that means like literally doors are open. Is that what you mean? Like doors are open?
No, I don't mean like there's no border security.
You gotta clarify that because people open borders.
Because obviously there should be some amount of border security.
Right.
I just think it's such a freaking touchy subject.
It really wasn't before.
What?
Before Trump, it really wasn't. Did you know that?
I mean, all right, touchy is the wrong word.
No, it is. It is a touchy subject. It's an incredibly touchy subject. It wasn't before Trump, though. It's really weird.
Maybe it's interesting that Trump's kind of sparked this debate on immigration.
Reagan and Bush had like the same policies as Obama and Clinton.
Really? And what were theirs?
Reagan said he said we should make it the best way to combat illegal immigration is to make it easier for people to come into this country legally so that we can tax their income.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like,
That's the easiest way.
I know it's like people are like, wait, I understand the principle thing where like, yeah, it's easy for people to come into the country just without illegal immigration. That's horribly, that's not principled at all. Yeah, but it's a practical solution. Like you can't stop illegal immigration. Building a wall is beyond stupid. A lot of people, good 40 to 30% of people that illegal immigrants, they actually fly and then they overstay their visas, or they just cross the border with a valid visa and overstay.
Yeah. It's very easy.
And on the other side of the argument, there's the people that are too progressive, thinking that we should literally, like there was one guy who said, ICE, you know ISIS, right?
That he what?
ICE, you know ISIS? ICE, not ISIS. ICE is.
ICE. Yeah.
ICE. So ICE basically, one of their jobs is to go and basically knock on doors and be like, hey, you're an illegal immigrant, time to get the fuck out. And they basically, so the guy said that ICE is the American version of the Gestapo. I was like, really, man? Like, we have to, they have a purpose. Like, so, there are other sides of the argument that are pretty stupid, but for the most part, immigration was a pretty bipartisan topic.
I'm sure it's scary too, because like a lot of these places, people are fleeing from them for like a good freaking reason.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I never blame an illegal immigrant. It's just that we have to have borders for a certain reason. It's a victimless situation, I'll say. It is a victimless and I guess purposeless, I don't know what, perpetratorless situation. It's a victimless and perpetratorless situation. There's no good guy, there's no bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah, and I know too. I listened to a podcast about this where they were talking about like border security before Trump and how they were basically like it's pretty freaking secure. Like, what else do you want us to do? Like, how do you have this quote unquote extreme vetting that he talks about? He's like, we already vetted everyone like a fair amount.
Yeah, I don't know if this extreme. Okay, so this extreme vetting thing, it's kind of stupid. It's like, okay, so what the extreme vetting is it's supposed to be like, okay, so it's for citizenship, I believe. It's not for immigration, I think, or just coming into the country. It's citizenship. It's actually, they're like this Daily Show. I'm not saying the Daily Show is like the pinnacle of knowledge or the pinnacle of good research, but they basically read the they read like the questions from the Trump citizenship test. And I actually agree with some of the questions. They make sense. Like, I'm not against extreme vetting. Like the question.
Yeah, people have to be vetted.
Yeah, the questions were like, is gay marriage okay? It's a gay marriage is, and the answer was legal. Like they want, I guess what they want, the whole point of it is, I'm not going to share, the diplomatic answer would be to make sure other cultures, the point of it was to make sure that radical Muslims understand that being gay is okay, females can be presidents, like all that crap. That was the point of it.
All that made up shit.
Yeah, that bullshit. Trump is a freaking feminazi, and he needs to be impeached because he's a soy boy cuck. Anyway.
Damn straight.
But yeah, I agree with that. I'm not saying that we specifically need these tests for Muslims. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. Like someone's gonna say, being a Muslim means you die, and then it's like, oh, someone's gonna fill that out on the citizenship test. Someone's gonna fill that out on the citizenship test. Really? Like, even if they don't believe that, they're just gonna fucking lie. Like, it's so stupid. But whatever. Who cares? I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter. So
yeah.
But the thing is that the Trump supporters failed the tests.
Really?
It was like gay marriage is disgusting, gross. Sorry, the correct answer was legal. And it's like, and then he asked this one guy. He said, all right, so I'm asking another question. Females are perfectly qualified to be presidents. True or false? False. When I think of a president, I think of a man. The president is a man's job. A woman would start a war in a heartbeat if she gets a hot flash or something. This is a woman saying this, by the way. A woman is saying that if people would start a war if she had a hot flash. What the fuck? And then the guy says, okay, all right, well, haven't all wars been started by men? And then, like, and then he goes, yeah, I'm sorry, that answer wasn't correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love that clip.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Oh, I want to talk about the concentration camps.
Oh yes, we did want to talk about that.
So
I thought it was very interesting. I only have seen some like headlines from it, but have not looked too much into it. But it just seems like pretty insane what's going on, honestly. And like somebody questioned Mike Pence on it. It was like, aren't you like a man of faith and a father? Like, how could you even think of like doing this? Like, this is okay. Like, I don't give a shit or something like that. He's like, he just didn't care. And then I read something too, like he's like, he was like, haha, how funny. You honestly think Mike Pence has any amount of humanity left in him?
oh my God. And yeah.
Just like crazy. Or like they were giving children aluminum bags, just like aluminum blankets. Or like
those are like the ones that given ambulances, like for they're for like heat retention in like very specific circumstances. Like, they just really need. I mean, they're based for refugees, and they're not. I mean, it's so. So the problem with that is, and I'm looking. I'll look it up in a sec. I'll keep looking. I'm looking at it right now, but I'm looking it up in a second because I just want to say, mass deportation never works. Like, always resolves in a massive humanitarian crisis.
And I would also like to add how absolutely insane our immigration courts are.
Okay, our immigration courts are fucking like they
unbelievable.
They're backed up to shit. Your trial is like, it's basically, I mean, it's an absolute shit show. It's unconstitutional. You have no get. First of all, what is it? Fair and speedy trial? Okay, bullshit. Speedy. Those courts, like, they have backup lists of like years and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
same
fair,
with like, what is it too? There's something like 5,000 just straight up American citizens, people born in America, get deported every year because of how crazy our immigration courts are.
Yeah. Like some Americans get deported. It's really
like there's this one lady who was an expert on immigration. She was giving this example of this one guy who had mental health. This is like a real story. Somebody had mental health like issues, and he got arrested for like sleeping in a park or something. Not arrested, but just taken to the police station. And he gets there, and then they're like, raise your hand if you are if you're not an American citizen or whatever. And he didn't know what was going on because everyone else was, so he just raised his hand. And then he gets deported to Mexico. But he's not a Mexican citizen, so he gets deported to like Ecuador and then a bunch of other places. And finally, somebody finds him on the street and like, what are you doing here? Like, I don't know.
What a sad and depressed, like, so it's such a, what's the word? It's such a defeatist answer. I just don't know.
I was like, that's kind of crazy, honestly. So it just seems like our immigration courts are just so incredibly messed up.
Oh, they definitely are.
Have you found anything yet, Neil?
Let me. Oh shit! I screwed it up. 1 second. AOC called them concentration camps, I know. And she actually got shit for that. You know that?
Yeah, I did hear that. It did seem a little bit, though, like as soon as one person's like, okay, it's okay to call it that, everybody else was calling it that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought a little bit.
It is kind of funny.
It's like, I don't know. They're like, it just isn't, they do seem lit. It seems pretty freaking crazy to just be locked up in cages.
All right, I'm going to read a little excerpt from the New York Times. Thousands of migrant children have now been separated from their parents. As NBC News reported in May, at least 7 children are known to have died in immigration custody since last year. Almost a decade in, no child reportedly died while in the custody of U.S. Customs and Borders Protection. Homeland Security's own Inspector General has described egregious conditions at detention facilities. And last week, an attorney for the Trump administration argued before an incredulous panel. Sorry, an incredulous panel.
Oh, I can't even read. What an idiot.
An incredulous panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit. I heard about this. This is crazy. Listen to this. An incredulous panel of judges on the Ninth Circuit that toothbrushes, soap, and appropriate sleeping arrangements were not necessary for the government to meet and keep its requirements. For the government to meet its requirements to keep migrant children in safe and sanitary conditions. Okay, so this was fucking insane. So the Ninth Circuit Court.
Where did that come from too? I've heard that from a lot of places, but I'm not.
This is the New York Times.
What? The New York Times?
This is the New York Times.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So an aficionado of the Trump administration went in front of the Ninth Circuit Court, and the Ninth Circuit Court questioned, okay, what's going on? What's going on with why are the migrants not being given toothbrushes, toothpaste, and soap? And they said, oh, they weren't there. Well, they're only there for 2 to 3 days, so we didn't think that was necessary. Okay, first of all, what the fuck? 2 to 3 days? Would any American go 2 to 3 days without soap or toothbrush or toothpaste? Would any prisoner go 2 to 3 days without soap, toothbrush, or toothpaste? No. And also, because the system's so fucking backed up, they're often there longer. Anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know.
I can't even, I like sometimes like putting myself in other people's shoes. I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah, imagine, yeah.
Wait. It's like, imagine where you're coming from, where it's probably, like you're running away because you're afraid of dying or getting killed from something. Either it be gangs or disease or your own government.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to escape to get away from all this evil shit, and you finally get to this one place where you're like, oh, finally I freaking find salvation, where it's some amount of safety, and I'm in a first world country, and then you get locked up in like a prison, separated from kids.
I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of like a concentration camp.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's absolutely like insane, incredulous.
Yeah.
The word.
I don't think you used that word correctly.
I don't think so either.
I think it means like shocked.
Really? Yeah. No, well, you wouldn't say I'm incredulous.
Well, I think it's used as like an incredulous. Okay. This is so off topic. I'm gonna look it up now. This is so off topic.
I didn't think I used it right either.
Yeah.
But it just it seems like such a crazy thing to put yourself into, or just like what's going on with them. And I even read too somebody like.
Okay, it says a person who is unwilling or unable to believe something. I mean, it's basic. I mean, yeah, incredulous could be someone who's stubborn, but it also could mean like shocked. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like.
So I just think it's like, I read something too. It was a quote from some immigrant where he was like, I've been shot at by gangs, and having my child taken away from me, that's torture.
Yeah, that's fucked. Separating.
Like crazy.
All right, this one is talking about the aluminum blankets. Do you want me to keep reading? This is still New York Times.
Sure.
All right. As one of the judges asked the attorney, are you arguing seriously that you do not read the argument as requiring you do something other than what I described? Cold all night long, lights all night long, sleep on the concrete floor, and you get an aluminum blanket? Think about that. Not only
it's not even like these people are prisoners by any means.
Yeah, they're
like they didn't do anything illegal, did they? They're just trying to come across the border.
I guess so. Yeah.
I guess maybe it's legal. I don't know. But by law, they're not. They didn't break any laws.
Yeah. First of all, prisoners are not treated like this.
What?
I said, first of all, prisoners are not treated like this.
Yeah, prisoners are treated better than that.
All right, stop and think about that. Not only do these children in question not have beds, but they're not even turning off the light so that they can go to sleep. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. I also read that.
All right, so I'll read this one last thing, then we can move on. According to the report, a 2-year-old boy locked in detention wants to be held all the time. A few girls, ages 10 to 15. Imagine you or I being in there. 10 to 15.
Yeah, just crazy.
Say they've been doing their best to feed and soothe the clingy toddler who was handed to them by a guard days ago. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. That's just absolutely nuts.
Okay, that is a concentration camp.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have these fucking like stick up your ass old.
That's my whole problem with people who like. Just, I mean, this is not me saying I believe in a flat Earth, but people who just give a shit about this. There's so much more important shit going on than who the fuck cares if there's a flat Earth. It's so meaningless. Like, this is the important shit going on. No one cares if the Earth is flat. It won't change. If somebody walked up to me, told me for 100% the Earth is flat, I'd be like, okay, I don't care. It doesn't change my life.
Well, is it important that Bob Lazar's worked on an alien propulsion thing?
That would change my. That would matter.
Yeah, that would change your world, kind of.
This would not. Okay, there's just so much important shit out in the world, and I actually really respected this about Alex Jones. Not like I respect Alex Jones all that much, but he was even talking about flat Earth. He was like, "Who the fuck cares about flat Earth? There's important shit going on that we need to talk about." I mean, of course, for him, the important shit was like, I don't know, alien space babies or some shit, but still.
He acknowledges that who gives a shit.
No one cares. This is what's actually going on. This is the problems that you need to take care of. Like, these are the issues at hand that people need to talk about. And honestly, even like, maybe a little less, but even with the student loan stuff, like, this is crazy. Like, this is completely unethical. Not the student loan, but people are like putting all their attention on this election. This is what matters.
I know. This
like,
is
stopping concentration.
I guarantee you that things are going to be reformed when he gets out. Honestly, even a Republican would be able to reform it.
Yeah.
It's not.
This is such a basic common sense. Beyond basic, just ethical obligations.
If you believe that these conditions are repulsive, then fuck you. I'm sorry. Go fuck you. Normally, I'm like, okay, I can see the other side. I can't see the other side. Even if you like Trump, you can still like Trump and agree these conditions are deplorable.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to agree these conditions are fucking deplorable.
Yeah, just insane.
Like Trump all you want. I can totally understand liking Trump. I can totally understand it. But these conditions are fucking deplorable, and you have to admit that. If you don't, you're intellectually dishonest, or I don't know.
Or your moral compass is somewhere.
Or is severely fucked up. Mm-hmm. It is not okay. This is sorry. So first of all, and by the way, I definitely heard this from multiple sources, and even if this wasn't reported by multiple sources, this is the New York Times. And these are quotes from Ninth Circuit federal judges. Okay? So this is not bullshit.
Mm-hmm. It's craziness.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to end after an hour? What are you thinking, Neil?
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we haven't really been on for an hour yet, actually.
No, not really in particular.
Like 10 minutes we've been on for an hour.
I'm not really anything on Trump. Mainly, I don't know, just on other stuff I've been thinking about. But that could be another episode.
Yeah, why don't we talk about the political atmosphere in general while trying to ignore the 2020 presidential candidates? Because I would really like to do an episode just on that.
All right. Well, the main thing I've had on my mind recently, I was talking with my mom earlier today, was about the whole Bernie Sanders, and he's like, I want to pay off all the student loans in the entire universe. I mean, America. And I was like, I do not understand that. It seems like such a freaking plea for votes. And honestly, it just pisses me off too that these like ultra liberal candidates originally to get in office were like, I'll make college loans so that everybody in the whole world can go to college, and you don't even have to be rich. You can
All
just
right,
go and then pay
let's
yourself
tell me
later.
really quick why college shouldn't be free. One,
But
it's a lot of fucking money.
yeah,
Two,
and it would
two,
lower the conditions for everybody else.
two, it lowers the conditions for everybody else because it just makes if we made college free, all it would do, all it would do is to extend, is to basically just make school 8 years longer. That's all it would fucking do. It wouldn't do anything else. It would make school 8 years longer, and it would decrease the value of a college degree. The
Because
reason,
everyone can get one.
yeah,
The thing that makes
if
a
everyone can
college
get
degree.
one, if everyone can get one, then you're gonna have to get one. Otherwise, you're behind, and that makes it worthless because everyone has one. Then it just extends school by 8 fucking years.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's just crazy. It's really crazy. And his whole plan is just retarded, beyond stupid. It doesn't even add up. It almost pisses me off because it's blatant lying. Because he has to somehow know that it won't even be close to being able to pay off.
So
This is just like,
so talk about how he said he was going to pay off, because you told me earlier how he said he was going to pay off.
He said it was like some amount of percentage tax on
You said 0. You said 0.
It was like zero. It's 0.1% tax, I believe, on all Wall Street transactions. It's just, and then like, but somebody did the math that wasn't even close to the amount needed. Like, there's 1.8 or 1.2 something trillion dollars worth of student loans in America. Need to look that up, Neil.
Yeah, I am.
There was some headline about it, and like, it's not even close. So I just get pissed off at this whole thing where the whole government, they're just like, oh, we'll pay off everybody's student loan. Like, everybody can have student loans. It makes
1.2 trillion as of June 2014.
Yeah, it's crazy. And a crazy large number. And it just like pisses me off that these people are lying. And the first get in office, like, if you vote for me, I'll make it so that everybody can get student loans, and literally everybody will be able to have them. So everybody will be informed and intelligent from now on. And then as soon as everybody knows how fucked up this whole thing is, where college is $80,000, like, almost a year, that's nuts. That's absolutely insane, because of course they can just charge it, because to most people, it, in a very odd way, it is free. It's just something you do, right? So, I mean, in the moment, it's free because you have somebody giving you money. You're just like, oh, I'll just pay it back later. So, in a weird sense, it is free. I don't know. It just it creeps me the fuck out.
Also, talk about for a second why the government, it's mainly the government's fault that student loans are so fucking expensive, by the way.
It is.
And like, the government charges pretty big interest rates. They they really don't. And by getting the public sector, having a mixed sector when it comes to loans, and when having a mixed public-private sector when it comes to loans and huge expenses, is always a recipe for fucking disaster, aka healthcare and student loans. So here's one thing. Jim, a producer, he just sent this in the chat, which is a good point. When the banks were bailed out in 2008, they got money at 1% interest rate. Okay, first of all, which was bullshit. Let the banks burn in hell and die. Fuck those guys.
All right.
The American people.
Do you think we should say this for another episode?
Yeah, sure. But the students paid the government like 5 to 6% interest rate on their student loans. It's a profit center it's a profit stream for the government, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly,
there's clearly a lot to talk about here. And I think we should say this not for a student loan video, but for the 2020 presidential candidate video, which I'd like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in conclusion, I think, is there anything else about Trump that we can talk about?
Nah, I just think mainly it's just the fact of how unethical his decision should have been.
The administration has been unethical, I think, and
that's my main way.
It's not because I'm a partisan hack; it's because it's just
because logic is how my brain works. So he's just logically unethical. It's just fuck. I don't you're just nothing to me. if you're like just if you're not logical in your decisions and also unethical, which I think in very similar way are the same thing in a lot of ways. I mean, I just can't respect you.
Is that your closing statement?
Yes.
All right, here's my closing statement. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, obviously, because I just ranted a lot. But I'll just say this. I'll just say this. I'll keep it brief and have one point. The one point is that the Mueller report contains at least enough evidence to have Trump impeached. Again, impeaching just means a trial, and the whole tax returns thing. Trump has had at the very least enough evidence to be impeached. It's a big possibility that he might be arrested when he comes out of office. It's becoming a growing possibility. So you know what? But we're talking about impeachment here. Impeachment is pretty black and white, pretty simple to me. I think he should be impeached simply because, again, he doesn't mean he's guilty. Just there's enough evidence to see if he is guilty or not. I think it's already been proven he's guilty of multiple things, which means he should have been impeached, honestly, a few months ago. But
it's just so interesting that Bill Clinton, people freaking flipped when he got a freaking blowjob from somebody.
When he lied about having an affair.
And Donald Trump didn't even really lie about not having an affair. Paid her off. Nobody even cares.
We gave a shit about Stormy Daniels.
Nobody gives a shit, honestly. Like, this is way bigger than Bill Clinton getting a blowjob, and nobody cares.
I know.
Because he paid her off.
I know. And I mean, all right, before we leave, I
just with campaign money. Like,
I know. Fuck.
It's just crazy.
I mean, hey, it was for the campaign, so she didn't, for her not talking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, technically.
Yeah.
It made Donald Trump happy. Maybe it overall helped his
yeah.
campaign.
Maybe he anyways. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I just want to say one more thing.
I feel like that was a good way to start off our third season.
Yeah. Just basically an absolute kind of like jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah. I mean, to be fair, you know, like I said, the truth isn't bipartisan, and I'm certainly not a hardcore leftist. We were just talking about how Bernie Sanders' policies are stupid. I'm sure you're going to see some of the part of us that don't like the left that much come out when we talk about 2020 presidential candidates and some of the stupid things they're saying.
The absolute freaking 10 million liberal candidates there are.
I know. Can they all just... All right, we'll talk about that later. Okay. All right, so thank you all for watching. We hope you're interested. If you have any questions, I believe there's a live chat, so you always post questions there. We'll try to respond. If you have questions about the whole presidential thing in the next episode, honestly, your questions don't even have to be on topic, to be honest.
Or even any ideas you guys have for episodes.
Any ideas, just ask us anything and we'll answer it. All right. Well, unless you ask my address, Dylan's Justy will answer. Okay, but thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of season 3. We're so excited to start this new season. And it's going to be exciting because, again, it's going to be, this season might be more political than the other seasons because of all the stuff that's going on. So we hope you enjoy it. And thank you for joining us. And it's been a great start to season 3. Goodbye.
Humanity has been on an epic journey of discovery, learning the truth about the world we live in. New discoveries about the true origins of humanity, ancient history, free energy, as well as the systematic corruption of world governments are now on the forefront of our daily reality. Is the world headed towards destruction based on control and power? Or is an opportunity now being presented to shift and uplift into a higher consciousness? My name is Mel V, co-founder and creative director of Conscious Consumer Network, an independent broadcast network that was launched on the 1st of January 2015. Conscious Consumer Network provides full training and an interactive support network for all broadcasters, and we are always looking for inspiring and educational content.
Hi, this is Lainey Liberty.
And this is Miro Siegel.
Conscious Consumer Network has expanded to multiple broadcast locations, increasing our availability and reach across the world, remaining on the cutting edge of independent media. If we wish to create a better world, we must first create better media, geared towards real education instead of indoctrination.
You guys really are what changing the world is going to be about. It's educating kids at a grassroots level.
Dare to seek a better world. Support independent media.